Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today I've got a little different format, and I'm going to be talking about why people are moving out of California and specifically to Texas. So on the call today, I have a friend of mine from Houston, Katie Day. And Katie, if you'll introduce yourself and tell the viewers a little bit about you.
Yeah. Hey, John, thanks so much for having me. My name is Katie Day. I am a real estate agent here in the greater Houston area. I moved to Houston actually from Florida back in 2011. So I've been here almost 10 years. And I love living in Texas. Got here as fast as I could.
Great. So I work as a solo guy. I have just myself and my office staff, but you have a team. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I got into real estate full-time in 2017 and then decided in 2018 to start a team. So my husband and I run a small team here in Houston. We have 4 buyers agents, an admin team and staff as well. And we kind of live all over the greater Houston area. So if you're not familiar with Houston, it's a pretty big city. You can be in Houston, but be, 45 minutes from another part of Houston. So, we wanted to be able to better serve, our clients throughout different areas of the city. So we started a team in 2018 and service buyers and sellers all throughout the greater Houston area.
Nice. So that's kind of a contrast. I work in the southern or South Orange County area in California, and we have kind of a micro market. Orange County is built up of about 45 or 46 small cities all stuck together, and to try to cover them all, like you say in Houston, is pretty hard to do. There's just too many markets and too many microcosms within that. But I'm trying to cover as much as I can. I kind of handle the area around Mission Viejo, the surrounding cities, out to the ocean. So it's been working for me. I've toyed with the idea of a team. We'll have to talk about that. About the logistics.
A long conversation, for another day,
right? Right. That'll be doing something. So let's jump into it. We know that people, in fact, I've had, I think, 6 transactions this year where the sellers have moved out of state. They're going to Florida, Utah, Montana, Miami, Texas. What's your take on things? Why are people moving to Houston?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of clients moving from both kind of like the Orange County area as well as the Bay Area. And I think that for a lot of the clients that we've assisted that are moving from California to here is that, in California, their home is a 9,000 or 9,900 or 8,000 square foot condo, and they have a growing family, or they have, maybe it's just a couple or even an individual, and they're looking for a little bit more space. And then a lot of them have been moving for job opportunities. So, we're seeing people moving for new jobs, for transfers with their current job, things like that. So, I think that there's a lot of opportunity, to be able to get more home for your money, than in a California or New York or, areas where the population density is a lot more dense, and in areas where the cost for square footage in home is more costly.
So we were just talking about before we started the call. I just sold a house in Huntington Beach, and just for example, that place is 4 bedrooms, about 2,000 square foot, and it's sold or it's in escrow for 1.4 million. What is a comparable house, 4 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet in Houston get me?
So obviously, depending on the age, you can get, I would say that 4,000 square feet, you said, or 4 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms. I mean, honestly, John, you could probably get that for anywhere between 250 to 350, or, obviously in a newer neighborhood or something like that, maybe in the 4s or 5s. But I mean, we have plenty of clients spending, in the 2 to 3 range for, 2,000 square foot houses here.
Wow.
But it's not in Huntington Beach,
Yeah, right.
So
it's not
paying for the zip code there.
Yeah, not a mile from the beach. So yeah. And then the ones on the water are like 3 million. So it just goes up as you get closer and closer.
Yeah.
So what are your houses, previously owned houses? Is there new construction? What's the breakdown on the market?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of both. There's some neighborhoods that are pretty established, right? And there's really not much land available in those areas. But, you know, as everyone knows that Houston and Texas is a very big state, you know, we just keep building out, right? So, Houston, if you're not familiar with the area, is kind of made up of different loops. So, you know, we have kind of downtown and Houston in the city. There's one loop, which is a highway, then there's another one, and now we're building another one that's even further out, you know, so that's just kind of connecting all of the kind of suburbs of Houston. So, you know, we are still seeing a lot of kind of like the master plan communities with, you know, all of the amenities and the lakes and the, you know, community clubhouses and, you know, basketball courts and tennis courts and kind of all of that. You know, and even inside kind of in town, we're still seeing a lot of development and a lot of, you know, new construction as well. So it really just kind of depends on the area. Again, if you want to be in something that's a little bit more established, you're probably going to buy a resale home. If you're looking further out, then, you know, you might be able to get new construction.
We're pretty built out around here. There's a few areas that are, there are a few communities or cities that are just, you know, filling up every vacant lot. The town of Lake Forest, which is just one city over, is doing that. They're just grabbing any small piece and they're putting 50 or 80 or 100 homes. And then a little bit further out, there's a new community called Rancho Mission Viejo, which is a master plan community. I think they're planning like 14,000 homes in that new style with senior living, adult living, condos, you know, just total master plan sort of deal.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know, our business or my business is all resale or mostly resale because there's just everything is so built out. We're just bumping against the mountains or the ocean, or if you go south, the Marine base at Camp Pendleton's the limit. So you just, there's no place for new land.
Can't go anywhere else, right?
That's it. You can go up, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of commercial construction going vertical, but that's kind of hit the brakes since March. So
yeah.
What do you see? You know, I have a crazy view of what Texas is. You know, it's everybody running around with cowboy hats and boots and horses. You know, I know that's not the case, but what are there other areas? I mean, are there rural areas that you service? Is there horse country or farm properties or anything like that? Or is it just all residential for you guys?
Yeah. So, you know, we do have some clients that look to move to have more space, you know, and want to be on acreage and things like that. So there are some areas closer to, you know, Houston proper that you can get a little bit more land. You know, I generally, for people that are looking at a subdivision, you know, normally those lots, and I'm sure this will sound big to you for a 2,000 square foot house, but, you know, normally those are between 5,000 and 10,000 square foot lots. You know, if you're getting something that's a 20 or a 30 or almost an acre, those are a little bit harder to come by. And then if you want acreage, it's definitely a lot harder to come by the closer you are to town. So the further you drive out, you know, that does exist. As far as kind of rural or farm areas, we actually have a contract in Texas for farm and ranch. That is not something that we do specifically. There's just a lot of terms and things in there that we don't deal with on a regular enough basis to be able to, you know, fully assist our clients to the best of our abilities. So we do have some good partners in other, you know, kind of outlying areas of Houston that do service that.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what's we talked about, you know, people moving out there and besides houses, how's the job market out there? What industries are booming? What's the job forecast, you know, for the next 5 years or so, or, you know, however long you want to look down the road?
My crystal ball. Yeah, I mean, so as far as jobs go, I think what a lot of people think about when they think of Texas is energy, you know, and oil and gas. You know, so I think that is obviously a big portion of our economy. You know, but I think that again, I say energy as opposed to just oil and gas, because I think there's a lot of renewable energy, a lot of, you know, wind, battery, like a whole, you know, list of other kind of industries that spur off of just kind of the oil and gas and energy industry. So that's I think the biggest, or one of the biggest ones. Outside of that, we do have the largest medical center. The Texas Medical Center is in Houston. It's the largest medical center in the world, and that's in Houston. So we do have a lot of, you know, healthcare, doctors, med students, anyone in whatever stage of their medical career, here as well, because there are the teaching hospitals and all that. We have the Space Center down south, so we have a lot of aerospace and engineering, a lot of engineers. We have the port, so a lot of transport. So it's definitely a lot more diverse of a job market than I think a lot of people realize, because again, a lot of people think either Wild West or oil and gas when I think of Texas. So.
It sounds like you have all the jobs that we lost. We had a we had a booming aerospace industry, centered around Los Angeles, and Hughes was big, Hughes Aircraft, which eventually became Boeing, I guess. But a lot of military contracts, a lot of oil and gas. In fact, along the coast, Huntington Beach and those cities was huge oil fields. But that business has all gone away. The aerospace is gone. Engineering jobs now. I mean, there's a lot of IT kind of engineering jobs, but and there's probably a lot of still, if you have a degree in engineering, you can get a job out here, but not like you have there. Not the hands-on manufacturing sort of business. What about cost of living? Out here, we know it's crazy. Prices of houses are high. The job market's good, but gasoline's high. Gasoline's like $3.25 a gallon. Food is expensive. What's the rundown in Texas or in Houston?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, most expenses here are going to be less as far as like percent of the national averages, because I mean, I'm sure California, most of them are going to be higher percentages of national averages. I think the last time I pumped gas was around just below $2 a gallon. And then as far as like cost of living and cost of housing, generally our median home price hovers in the 250 to 280 range, just obviously depending on kind of how homes are selling that month, because that is kind of a moving target. And then I didn't pull really any numbers as far as like specifics on like healthcare and things like that. But I do know on some of the research I've done previously that, as far as like raising a family and healthcare and, kind of the daily expenses that you would have, they're generally going to be less. And I'm trying to pull the number. I know I have it here somewhere, trying to pull the number for that.
That's okay. We could, in fact, I just want to make a quick comment for all the viewers that are watching. Katie's got a great channel, YouTube channel, and she does this, you do a market update, I think every week or every 2 weeks. And she's got a lot of information as well about communities, living in Texas, living in Houston, lifestyle, cost of living. So we'll put some links in the video when we're done with her channel and my channel, and you can look at that stuff. It's a great way to find out some more information and hear about what we do and how we do it.
Yeah. So one of the stats I just pulled up, some notes that I had for a previous video. I think it's just obviously it's not Houston versus whatever, it's just Texas to California, but it said that housing costs 54% less in Texas than it does in California. Yeah. Just on kind of an average price basis.
Yeah, that's believable, and that's pretty good. There, I mean, we call it the Orange County bubble. It's a pocket of high dollar property and income, and so it's a little bit difficult to compare that across the board. But even the median prices across Orange County, or even including into LA, are still pretty high. So yeah, I would believe that 54% is a pretty good number. What about taxes? We have I think it's a 13.5% or almost 13.5% income tax, and I think it's going up to 16 point something next year. So what's your situation is a little different, right?
Yeah, so we don't have state income tax, but our taxes are going to be a little bit higher. So, no state income tax, all your is federal. Taxes as far as your home would be anywhere between 2% to in change percent of the assessed value of your home. I'm not sure how it is in California, but in Texas, we're in disclosure state, so you don't have to tell the tax authority what you need for your home. So tax values is inaccurate. If they're low, that's good for you as a homeowner, So a lot of people will fight their tax value each you don't have to tell the tax authority what you paid for it. So if you can keep that as low as possible, it lessens your tax burden. And again, I think the little asterisk to that is even our taxes are 2.5 or 3% paying that on a $300,000 home versus paying it on a $2 million home, or it kind of evens out there.
We have a kind of a graduated system. It's since the 70s they put in a proposition that set up a bar pretty low for the taxes, and then it was assessed at about 1% of the sales price of the home, and then it would escalate up to some 1 or 2% per year, and you could always contest that value as the market moved up or down. But every time the house is sold, then the house is reassessed. So my home I bought in 25 years ago at 250,000. If I sold it today for 900,000, it's going to get reassessed at that month. The tax is going to be over $10,000. And then the same thing, on any property, they're just based on the and it's public record, so the tax authority knows what you paid for it. They're usually going right to the public record, so you really can't. I mean, you could cheat them, but I'm sure they're going to find out, and then they're going to slam you for it. I know what I want to ask you about weather, because I hear that Texas is hotter than blazes and as humid as could be.
So Houston is humid. I will give you that. We do not have Orange County weather. We don't have California weather. But so it is hot. It is definitely hot here. I would also caveat everywhere in the summer. But yeah, it's humid. You're not going to go sit outside and have a picnic in July, August in Houston. But the winters are mild. It was like 60 degrees, I think, at some point in the past week or two, and I was freezing, so I mean, that's not bad. So yeah, I mean, I think, it's hot here, it's humid. We do get a lot of rain, during hurricane season over the summer, which, is never fun. Rain's never fun, but yeah, I mean, it's I would take this over, New York or, Montana or.
I grew up in Chicago, so
yeah, or Chicago for sure. I mean,
I am done with weather.
Yeah,
if it's not 72 degrees, I'm not a happy guy. So,
yeah, welcome to California, right?
I'm in a good place. Yeah. It gets, like you say, it gets down to 60. I have to put a jacket on. I'm not happy.
Why do you think I'm wearing long sleeves right now?
Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's one other thing I want to mention is that I watched a video of yours and you talk about the food culture. In my neighborhood, my town, it's like Taco Bell and, McDonald's. There's not any really good, I shouldn't say that. There are some varieties of good food, but there's a lot of commercial stuff. Talk to me about what you got in Houston. I know you got some great places there.
Yeah. I mean, so we have, I think that we actually have the most languages spoken in one like metro area than in anywhere else in the States, I think. So, I mean, we have super diverse culture. So, I mean, whatever you're looking for as far as food goes. So, we've got the standard, like Asian, Japanese, Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese, all of that, sushi. Then we've got,
you say
Indian
that's
food.
Standard, like everybody has that.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people live in other areas that it's not very diverse food, but we've got, that type of food. We have Italian food. We have really creative food too. And I think that's what I really like is that there's a lot of restaurants. I went to a place the other day that was like a tiki hut restaurant. And like it's basically kind of like island fare and they put drinks in coconuts, but then they also have like Asian food and it's just like a cool mesh of culture. And that's what I think is really, really awesome about Houston is that since we have, so many different cultures, you have Vietnamese, Mexican, or Cajun Tex-Mex, or, all of these things that like, you don't know if they go together or not, but then you go and you sit down and you eat it, or you go to that food truck and you eat it and you're like, okay, this works, so that's something that I feel like is like kind of what Houston's known for is these kind of like odd combinations that like really, really work.
And of course, great barbecue, right? You gotta talk about, and so what's your barbecue go-to? What's your style?
So, okay. So I grew up on the East Coast. I had family in Alabama. I lived in Maryland, family in North Carolina. So I was always a pulled pork person. that was always kind of my go-to, because that's like an East Coast thing, right? Is the pulled pork. But in moving to Texas, the barometer for a barbecue place is going to be its brisket. So you've got to try the brisket. You know, you can get it chopped up or sliced. I say chopped because it's fattier, and that's just always better. But like brisket's the barometer for any barbecue place here. That's a Texas thing. Beef ribs as well, but brisket I would say always ranks above beef ribs. Um, so yeah, and I mean, as far as like places to go, I have way too many to start talking about like actually where to go. We could do an entire video on that.
Once again, I'm gonna refer you to Katie's channel, because she does have the 10 best restaurants or styles of food.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that, watching that video. I just get hungry every time I watch it. So.
Talk about me trying to talk about it all, you know? I'm over
Yeah,
here
right,
just
right,
like,
right.
oh, and this and that. So.
Well, listen, we're running short on time here. I want to just wrap it up. I want to thank you, first of all, for coming out and being on the video today. Once again, just give us your information and how to reach you, and I'll put all the links in on the bottom. But go ahead and just wrap up there your stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. Always love talking about Texas. But my name is Katie Day. I run the Move Me to Texas team. So you can find us on all social media. And, you know, our website is Move Me to Texas. And that's MOVEMETOTX.com. And you can drop my phone number and all that down there. But if you Google me and Move Me to Texas, you will find my phone number as well. So, yeah.
Great. All right. Well, great. I'm gonna stop the recording. And so everybody, hey, thank you very much for being with us today. If you have any questions, if you're thinking of buying or selling in Mission Viejo or Southern California, contact me. If you'd like to move to Texas, call Katie. She's our go-to gal. So thank you very much for being on today, and I'll see you on the next video.